वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम. Can someone recollect? Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Something, any point, so we can take it ahead. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes, Hariom.
Hariom.
Yes, Chaitanya.
Yes, yesterday we saw about the interaction of Kshetra and Kshetrajna, Purusha and Prakriti. We saw that so Shri Krishna said all of these things which are there have been created by either by the interaction of Kshetra and Kshetrajna or Purusha and Prakriti. And once you start becoming conscious of that, this whole is the play or interaction of Purusha and Prakriti or Kshetra and Kshetrajna. You start and the divinity is present everywhere. You actually stop getting played. So you start seeing there is some sort of arrangement behind everything that is happening, and forces of Prakriti are always at play. And we saw that Purush is actually sitting detached from these things and interferes only when it is required. And once you have this realization of Purush and Brahman, it will bring that calmness. You stop getting frustrated about things, about you stop thinking about why it is happening or how it is happening. So that was the part. And as Sri Krishna said that that avyakta, that light of avyakta, which is sitting within everyone, actually has the capacity to remove all the darkness from within, and he's actually sitting inside everyone and transcending all these qualities of nature. But what we need is to realize that light, to awaken that consciousness, so that we are actually able to go to the higher consciousness then. And that is, I think, understanding this whole thing of Kshetra and Kshatrajna and Purusha and Prakriti and realizing that light is I think kind of opening of your inner chakshu, which actually liberates you. And then Shri Krishna said that I will share that golden knowledge with you, which Munis and Rishis were able to understand and attain their siddhi. So that once you get that knowledge and get the shelter in the divine consciousness, there will be no fear, frustration, and you will not get trapped in that cycle of creation and destruction again and again. So from here, I think we were going to go to Three Gunas.
Okay, beautifully said. Thank you, Chaitanya ji. A wonderful summary. Indeed, there's a play of forces which is taking place in this world. We are all what we see on the outside, we are different, but behind, in the unseen providences, lots of forces are at play. That is why many times yogis have a very beautiful drushti. They can see beyond what is on the outside and they can identify. I think we also have got these moments, isn't it? Sometimes we see, oh, this person is a wonderful person, but a wrong force is acting through that person. Has anybody felt like that? Anytime? Yes. Okay, I know this person. He's not like this. But today, some wrong force is working through that person. Has anybody experienced that? If yes, please share. Yes,
Probably we attribute it to the situation, maybe that because of the situation, maybe he's behaving like this.
That yes, situation we can, and we are not talking about like in the movies they show possession and forces with
No, no,
evil forces and all,
no.
but what we're talking about is चलो something is there today अरे ये तो आज ज्यादा ही टेंशन में है आज टेंशन में है तो सब चीजें ऐसे ही चलेगी तो it is not this individual speaking. Sometimes our friends speak something which is absolute nonsense and we tolerate it क्योंकि no, it's not my friend speaking, it is this irritation that is speaking. This I think everybody must have got an experience, isn't it? So these are actually forces, and there are actually, just as we say, Chetana is there everywhere. There's a dynamic movement of forces. It is something which we have not been taught. It is something which we have not been introduced in our education. We have heard about gravity. We know its value. 9.81, that this is the gravity force. Why is it we don't ask this question? So there are forces like that within the world also there are forces at play at any given point of time. If you are able to understand the forces, then you'll be able to make a difference. Yes, Renuji is saying something.
We are always tested.
Yes?
We are always tested and tried.
We are always tested and tried because those forces are not working only in outsiders. No? Inside of us also, we have the forces at times, isn't it? Sometimes in kids, it's very prominent. It's like if children have not eaten, you will see a different force. And the moment the food is full, then you will see, Arey, wow, now we have a sadhu in the house. Otherwise, there was right now one full asura doing a continuous thunder around. So something like that. Forces are at play. Krishna is saying, I'm going to tell you how the Munis operated. In the last Adhyaya, he said, if you understand the game of Purusha and Prakriti, you're not going to be burnt by the flames of passionate desire. Many times these attachments become a liability for us. I mean, we all want to feel happy. We all have the right to feel happy. We have the right to seek happiness. But in that right, somewhere we go on the wrong path, where we get trapped in our expectations. Krishna is saying if you're able to take one step back, you can experience Ananda. Best example for us is who is leader, who is following what he's speaking. That is our Krishna himself. Look at Arjuna in the first adhyaya. Arjuna is a hero, isn't it, of the battle? For the Pandavan side is already outnumbered. So many people are relying on Arjuna. And look at Krishna, what has he done? He has put his all, I mean, everything for Arjuna, isn't it? He gave the Narayani Sena to the other side. He became the charioteer. And then the hero says, I'm not playing. I'm not participating. I'm not going to involve in this battle. Anybody who would be on a reactionary level would get shocked. Okay, what is this? But Krishna very nicely says, from where has this klebyam masma gamaha partha naitatvaya upapadyade? From where has this force entered into you? This does not behold your brave hearts. And look at Krishna while he is dealing with it. His hero is is in depression right now. This has very grave potential of destroying everything what is right. Yes, Krishna is trying to do dharma sanstapana. So for that, his champion is now withdrawing. This will create frustration, isn't it? But we see Prahasanniva Bharata, Senayoru Bhayor Madhye. Krishna is smiling and with a slight laughter, almost if there is laughter. It's not visible, very quietly. He says, Aha, you have become Pandit suddenly, Arjuna. So this aspect is Krishna was the master of forces also. He could easily understand. You see where he is going. He had relations with everybody, isn't it? Krishna spoke to everyone, from Shakuni to Duryodhana to every single person in the Mahabharata. So this is a knowledge, and Krishna says the Munis they operate with this knowledge. I'm going to share that to you because when you are in this consciousness, you are never separated from the divine consciousness, and you don't get trapped. You are not going to even pralaya is going to come. You're not going to get disturbed. They said no, मस्त रहो मस्ती में आग लगे बस्ती में और रमता जोगी बहता पानी कोई रोक रोक नहीं सकता nobody can stop the wave of a flowing river or a yogi who has got connected with the divine. So these munis are able to understand and Krishna says I will tell you. And let us continue. We go to the third shloka. मम योनिर महद ब्रह्म तस्मिन् गर्भं दधाम्यहं संभवः सर्वभूतानां ततो भवति भारत. Oh Arjuna, the worldly creation is my womb vast, within which the seed of life I infuse and cast, from which arise the beings of the mortal realm. For all living creatures, I am the Creator Supreme. Krishna says this entire Srishti is just a garbha. In this garbha, I have planted my seed of consciousness. What we were seeing in the last adhyaya, Purusha and Prakriti. The Purusha is entering into the Prakriti and creation is taking place. This is the Srishti, is what he is describing. This is for every living creature, all who is born. I am the Creator Supreme, is what Krishna says. He goes on further. He says, Sarvayonishu Kaunteya, meaning all living beings. no matter big or small, wise, wonderful, all. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtayah Sambhavanti Yaha Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Iham Bija Pradah Pita. For all the wombs in which the living are generated, O Arjuna, I am the womb wherein they are created, and all the life forms on earth I have fathered. From my seed, all their energies they have gathered. So Krishna is again talking about creation, and it is actually a very metaphysical aspect or a mystic aspect, the very aspect of the creation of our Srishti. If and we are actually only human beings are capable of trying to even go that deep, isn't it? To try to visualize how the universe came into existence. No other creature is able to, because we have been given our Chetana, along with that, we have been given Mana also. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, all that we saw in the last Adhyay. So here Krishna is saying that I in the sense the Supreme Brahman, has created the Srishti. My question is it believable? Is this logically understandable? Yes or no? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes, Rameshji says yes. Why is it, sir? Why do you feel yes? It feels natural, is it? Yes, sir?
It is natural, and he's trying to explain it to his Shishya, his beloved disciple.
So there's no need, Arjuna, Krishna has no need to lie, or there's no need for him to say. So that way we can say Rameshji has already accepted Krishna as Shabda Brahmana. So what Krishna says will be true. There is no need for him to say, all right. But somebody will say, with an inquisitive mind, I don't really accept it. Then if you just go back into the origin of what we understand according to our logic, again, what is it? From a core, isn't it? From a core of a star. How was the star? Brilliant, full of light. Our galaxy came into existence with a big nada, with a big sound, with a big, what we call nada Brahma. They have used the word Big Bang. There was one higher state. Now, it was brilliant. It was super light to something which we are not able to, our eyes cannot grasp. That was the brilliant light. Hiranya Varna, Hiranya Garbha. The same thing we see here. What was happening? From that only the creation took place. Surya is just one small part of that brilliant star. There may be many other stars. Gayatri Mantra talks about something similar. Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. We are going to connect with that. Again, what is happening? Because of this, only different states of matter came into existence. According to science, states of matter. According to our Adhyatma Vidya, it is Pancha Mahabhutas. Akashad, Vayo, Agni, Rapah. Then from Apah comes Prithvi. So different states came into existence. Well, it's actually just even visualizing it. It is a brilliant. It is something which is an intelligent design. The question is, can an intelligent design have no creator? Can an intelligent design be a product of a non-intelligent creature or a non-intelligent existence or a non-intelligent consciousness? Yes or no? Can an intelligent design be the product of a non-intelligent consciousness? No, isn't it? Yes, somebody was saying?
Yeah, I
Chaitanya.
mean, maybe science treats it as a product of probability. I mean, just that everything happened to be in the place, and we were kind of originated because of such a less probability. I mean, they kind of calculate the probability of life, right? Like the similar
Yes.
situations can be present on the other stars,
But
and then
now
that
probability
probability.
also has a science and functioning, isn't it, Chaitanya
Yes,
ji?
yes, it has, but yeah, I
It
mean,
has.
somehow science is trying. I think it feels that
It's trying to
they attribute it.
understand. It
Yeah.
is trying to understand, but best of the best scientists are, at least they say, if I'm not a theist, I will be an agnostic person, because I'm not fully sure. I do not know. Vyakta is also Agnyata for them. It is unknown. And when with the unknown, only the beginning of the journey starts. When you recognize it. So Krishna is right now, again, he's saying, Arjuna, recognize. Means again, this knowledge of the presence, knowledge of a higher consciousness, knowledge of our existence not being just a product of fluke or having no purpose, but a part of an intelligent design, helps us connect with the higher consciousness. It's something, it is the aspiration. This is, no, Dil hai chota sa, choti si asha. What is the asha in the song? It talks about going up to the skies, because that is the power of human aspiration. Man can aspire to rise, and we have seen in the material world also how man has tried to, with aspiration, shape and probably reshape the world, reshape the Srishti, because this is the power in our consciousness. We have been vested with this. Why only man? Well, this is the era of man. This is the age of man, and next stage of consciousness also will be reached by man for a betterment of the world at large. But recognition is important, because when you recognize, you have an anchor point in life. That anchor point will not shake. So Krishna is re-establishing that, but it's not required for Arjuna, because Arjuna has already established in his consciousness the supremeness of the divine. Probably Arjuna has not fully understood, and Krishna wants him to probably focus more. So we can also draw an inference from this that, chalo, let us also meditate. Let us meditate according to our swabhava, according to our nature, but let us recognize the higher consciousness. And when you recognize a higher consciousness, what happens is you get humility naturally. It comes into you. Chalo, there is somebody bigger, somebody elder in your own home. Okay, Babuji aa gaye. Namaste, namaste. Till Babuji comes, you're all like this. And suddenly, oh, all right. Or Maji in front of Ma, somebody becomes quiet, humble. Something like that. Recognize is something Krishna is saying, and recognize that I am present everywhere. Bija. I am the Sutra, I am the Bija, and all are my children, is what he says. Now comes the interesting part. Now we begin with what are the three gunas. Now, once it enters, it will never leave. The concept of three gunas is going to permanently remain throughout the Gita, even in the 18th Adhyay. And probably if we carry over after 18th Adhyay, we'll be able to enjoy the game of the gunas in our life also. Let us see. Sattvam rajastama iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibhadanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. This is the miracle. This is the paradox. This is something like a mystery. What is it? Krishna says, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva are the qualities procreated. Threefold in nature, they have been created. O Arjuna, the immutable self is by them bound. Governing the body and consciousness, they are found. This Sharira, this consciousness is governed by the three gunas. Who is governing? Even the immutable, the inside of us, we are told, no, there is the Atman. There is the Atman which cannot be cut, which cannot be dried, which cannot be wet, which cannot be burned. That Atman is bound by the three gunas. How is it possible? Everybody knows the story of Ramayana, isn't it? Anjaneya, what happened in Sri Lanka when he went to Lanka? He was bound, isn't it? He was tied. How was the great Rudra tied? Which thread or which weapon could try such a force? Why was it possible in Ramayana that Anjaneya got bound? Anybody? Was it because he was weak? So what was it because of what? Yes, Manisha ji.
It was Brahmastra. So he, out of respect for
Out of
Brahma,
respect, he allowed himself to be bound,
yes,
isn't it? Because that
yes,
was, he recognized it to be a part of a grand plan. So he's allowing it. Something like that in our lives. You see, inside of us, there is this supreme Chetana. But that Chetana has allowed the three gunas to function and govern our body, govern our consciousness. Like we have Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. We will see that. In Ayurveda also, there is something Kapha, Vata, Pitta, three doshas. The three doshas affect our thinking, the three doshas affect our health, they affect our homeostasis also. They are in balance, our body is nicely balanced inside. Otherwise, balance is broken. Kapha dosha, you're having leaking nose immediately. Well, like that, these three gunas are there, and Krishna is saying, see, even this supreme is the immutable self is bound by the three gunas, because on the surface level, these gunas function. Again, if they are working on the surface, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? what is there behind also, there is something higher. But let us look at the three gunas now. Krishna says, let us see the sattva. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasham anamayam sukha sangena badhnati jnana sangena chanakha. Sattva is the quality that reflects in serenity, shanti, serenity, quietude, peace. All these are characteristics of sattva. Sattva is the quality that reflects in serenity, illumined by virtue and an immaculate purity. Such a person with sattvic guna is going to be very virtuous. You will see, अरे this इनके अंदर है पहले से ही है. This person is so pure. There is no wrong aspect. This person is so nice. Some people we feel that when we meet them. Well, that is a sattva guna which is dominating in that individual. This quality produces in man no disease or affliction. Oh Arjuna, it expresses through happiness and knowledge is fascination. Sattva guna is likely to make you live a life which is a long life, free of disease, free of affliction also. How does this work? Is there a connection between the gunas and life? Well, yes. How you think, it makes a difference, isn't it? If you're always cranky and your face is always frowning, what will happen? Even when you're not frowning, the sanskar is remaining on the face, isn't it? The wrinkles will appear. Some people you see very nearly they appear like there's a dead rat under their nose for no reason. Why? Sanskar. So many days, so many years, always. They're happy also, it looks like they're sad because that is a nature. But look at sattvic nature, we see a person with sattva is always peaceful. There's purity in the heart of that person only, is what Krishna is saying. It produces no disease, produces no affliction. What does the doctor say when you go to, if a person has hypertension? When a person goes to a doctor, he gives a medicine, but along with that, he gives some advice also, no? Behavioral advice. What is that? Somebody is having a lot of hypertension. Become sattvic. Of course, he doesn't use this word, become sattvic, but he says, Shant, be quiet, don't get irritated, don't get cranky, remain calm, don't get attached so much in all of. He's basically giving Bhagavad Gita Gyan only, no? Become sattva, follow this quietude because this will not create any disease inside of you. And it's true. Somebody who is calm and peaceful at all times, will this person have panic attacks regularly? Will such a person have high BP issues? Very less likely. Of course, there are always exceptions, but your state of living, your state of being has a bearing on your personality also and on your health also. And that is one thing about sattva. We will see later on about foods also, which are connected. That is nowadays a new concept coming up, which is already old but repackaged right now in Western science. And, this is a nutritional psychiatry using food as a medicine. And that was something which was already there. And let us see now. But sattva is one thing. But sattva is also having a bandhana. Sattva gets attached to happiness and it expresses through knowledge and fascination for knowledge and happiness. Means one thing we are understanding is that there is a bandhana in these gunas. They are binding the highest truth, isn't it? So maybe we have got a hint that these gunas are also not everything. Means they are having some limitation. They are functioning everywhere, but it's like a good operating system with some bugs in it. Do we discard the operating system? No. What do? We try to eliminate the bugs. That is exactly what we have to do. But here, sattva is, it is expressing, it is getting attached through happiness and knowledge fascination. Sometimes people are goody goodies also. No? Too good to be true is a word we use. अरे अभी तो चिल्लाना चाहिए, अभी तो आक्रमण हो रहा है. You cannot say no, 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 it's okay. God will take care. What's going to happen then? We'll sometimes forget our duty in this state because we are so attached in one aspect. So, but sattva grows in this. When you receive knowledge, you're getting ananda of knowledge. You get that knowledge is sattvic knowledge only, but there is a limitation in sattva. Let us just understand that there is a limitation. What is its limitation? We will see when we know something which is better than it. But as of now, yes, sattva has its limitation. Let us go to rajas. रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संग समुद्भवम तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनम. Rajas is that which ignites in one a passionate fire, a strong feeling of liking, longing, and desire. Oh Arjuna, it is born out of a possession for things. Through attachment to works, it binds the self in all beings. So Rajas, we have been introduced already to Rajas in the Gita. Can somebody recollect where and when before Krishna had given introduction of Rajas? Can someone recollect? Yes. No, all right. I'll get back. I'll just recollect it. So, if you see, when Krishna first introduced that there is an Atman, we have an inner nature, we have a divine nature, Arjuna had bluntly asked this question: if we have this inner nature, then why is man doing sin? What is it that man is provoking man to sin, thus go against his own kin? Why does he do this? Arjuna asked this question, and that time, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhavam. Krishna had said, Kama, Krodha, both have come from this Raja Guna. And how is this? This is like a fire. What does fire do? It quickly burns to ashes. It is something like that. Raja Guna quickly obliterates in a moment also. Because this moment of anger, a moment of desire made a person, a very honest official who was always sattvic in a moment of rajas, suddenly did a wrong action and became labeled as a corrupt person all his life. So that is what again, Raja Guna overtaking. I didn't mean to say this, but you spoke something, and now, whether you mean it or not, that has caused an irreparable damage. I think many times people have got this experience among friends, among elders. My friend shouted at his professor. That was a big problem. He didn't control his anger. And that professor didn't spare him till his engineering got over. And I remember when he went to go for getting a recommendation letter, his professor said, "You didn't wish me that day. I'm not signing for your letter of recommendation." What happens is many times we don't realize this aspect of gunas. Like that, the moments come. So Raja Guna is this. And Krishna has described it. It ignites a passionate fire. Should we have a passionate fire? Yes. Again, fire is what? Agni, no? Rig Veda begins with Agni. But Agni means Purohitam. He's considered the Purohit, the one. But what happens when fire is not controlled? It burns. So this is Rajas. We need that force sometimes, yes. But how much of it? Because it's like strong feeling of liking, strong longing, strong desire. Oh Arjuna, it is born from possession of things. This is my friend. This friend must celebrate with me only. How dare this friend goes and meets with another person? I saw an online photo of this person with another person. Now I will not spare my friend. How dare this person enjoy without me? What is happening is possession starts coming, and possession comes into a relationship. It is a poison of the relationship, isn't it? No matter how much inner feelings are there, when you bring in possession into it, possession to objects, possession to people, possession to thoughts, sometimes possession to ideologies. Wherever possession comes, it is just a problem because the force is working through that person. And that is the force of Rajas. And Rajas is quite dangerous, is what Krishna is saying. Means you ask a sattvic person, would you like tea or coffee? Say, "Ah, chalega, kuch bhi chalega, theek hai, thoda chalega." That's all the response will be. But Rajasic, I will have only coffee and in that I want this many spoons of sugar and you better put this particular sugar only. I want brown sugar only. Don't you do that. Anything else, I don't know. But it could have been told differently. But no, Rajasic Swabhava will be very strong in some individuals. So that is Rajas, is what Krishna is saying. Its limitation is attachment. Means, like we understand limitations, then you can work with it also. And you can transcend it. Ahankar, you should become free of ahankar. It's like saying a person should become free from the skeleton. What will happen to the body? It'll plop, it'll fall down. It is something like that. Each of us have ahankar, but we have to understand how to control it. What is swabhiman? What is swabhiman? Where should I take pride? I am proud to be an Indian, yes, but I'm not arrogant to be an Indian. So there's a difference. There's a thin line that must be understood. And like Mother has also said, I think Sri Aurobindo has said, ego is a helper, ego is a bar. Initially, it can help, but after a while, it does not. Recognize what are you holding on, what are you possessing when everything belongs to the divine. As the Isha Upanishad says, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Taktena Bhunjita. Enjoy after forsaking with joy for towards the divine. Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. Give it back and enjoy. Then you experience the higher consciousness. So Rajas is having this limitation. This is the limitation of attachment. So a person binds, gets trapped because of his attachments. Sattva has its limitation, getting trapped in its own goodness. Rajas is trapped in its own attachment. What about tamas? Tamastva jnanajam vidhi mohanam sarva dehinam pramada lasya nidrabhis tannibadnanti bharata. Tannibadnati bharata. Krishna says, but tamas is the quality that creates a delusion and traps all beings in ignorance's illusion. O Arjuna, the mortals are by it confounded. In laxity, laziness, and sleep, it is founded. What is the foundation of tamas? It's in laziness, it's in sleep, in laxity. It is trapping a person in illusion of ignorance. It creates a delusion. Does a person who is deluded know he is deluded or she is deluded? No, isn't it? That is the biggest problem. It's like when you are trapped and you know you are trapped, you can escape, isn't it? But what if you don't know? Many times some traps are like that in life. We don't understand it. And there was a beautiful Marathi Bhakti Geet. Todi sonyacha pinjara. Break this golden cage and take the leap. Oh boy, it's like Akashi Jhepag Here Pakara. This entire sky is waiting for you. Spread your wings. Don't feel that you are satisfied in this. You are being thrown morsels for food. Just because it's a golden cage, don't think you are there. That is Maya also, isn't it? When we were introduced the story of Maya, look at Narada. Narada got trapped in this Maya. So he was in such a delusion, he didn't realize what was the aspect. This is actually tamas is there. Tamas is that which creates an illusion in people. What we call what we could say a kind of in sometimes people get trapped in their own routine of sameness. They get trapped in their own darkness. Sometimes people get trapped in their own thoughts. Happy moment also, you'll see everybody in the house is celebrating. This boy is like, or this girl is quiet. नहीं, ठीक नहीं है. What is not right? No. Something is not right. The person is not experiencing ananda at all because tamas is there. So this is something which Krishna is saying. Its cloak of ignorance cages the intelligence. So buddhi becomes bhrashta. Buddhi is covered most of the time. In depression also, what is happening? Tamasic buddhi is working continuously. One Vaidya who was part of a session, she said that she had this experience of watching three gunas in a person. All three inside of the same person. And that is the truth, isn't it? We would like to say, I am Sattvic. That person is Rajasic, that person is Tamasic. When we introduce this chapter, it's a little simplified for the kids. My brother is always Rajasic. I am very Sattvic. Every sister or every brother says this dialogue about a sibling. Ki I am Sattvic, the other person is Rajasic. But I think this much we can understand that all we have these moments. We have Sattvic moments, we have Rajasic moments, we have Tamasic moments also. And the case in point I was talking about this doctor, she said that a chronic depression, a patient of chronic depression had come to the hospital and she said, I watched, she's an Ayurvedic Vaidya, so she had to work with a psychiatrist. There, she said, I watched the stages, how this person came out of it. Initially, this person was full of tamas, non-expressive, not talking, we did not know what's going to happen. And this person was just feeling no point of anything. Everything is useless. Nothing we were speaking, I did not know also whether what we are speaking is useful. Did the person take medicine or no? Also, we didn't know. He would not respond to the nurses. Then came the next stage. What was it? Rajasic. Then he started shouting, firing at the nurses, doctor, everybody. This was the next moment. But the doctor, she was a little surprised. What is this? What has happened? Why this change? But our senior doctor was like, good. See, watch his moment again. And she said afterwards he became so sattvic. She had an intellectual discussion and big philosophical discussion that person was going, and she was able to appreciate his intelligence and wit and everything. And she was like so surprised. And that time the doctor said, now you watch it, he's going to get discharged very soon. And exactly that is the thing that happened. So if you see one, two, three, it is the stages. So if you want to call lowest among the three, can we call it tamasic? Yes, tamasic, most.
Yes,
Yes, Chaitanya. The next level we can call it Rajasic,
Rajasic.
isn't it?
Yeah.
In the middle, in the middle. And then Sattvic is higher. But is Sattvic highest? No, because we saw Sattvic is also getting bound by something. So there is something higher than Sattvic. But as of now, when we are just learning about the operating systems, let us look at the three first. So in the three, we can grade them this way also. Let us continue. Krishna is saying, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati Rajaha Karmani Bharata Jnanamavritya tu Tamaha Pramade Sanjayatyuta. By happiness, nature sattva is bound. And by desires and actions, rajas is ensnared found. So desires, actions, I have to do it. I am doing this. I am doing this. Feeling of I sometimes takes over a person so much. I have to plan everything. In that I, the ananda disappears many times. And many times the I actually interferes with the grand plan. The I comes in between every time. That is why the yogis say, throw this ahankar. तूने क्या बनाई, तूने क्या सजाई, सब किया है तो उसने, तूने बातें बनाई. That's the कव्वाली. Go become quiet. सोचा क्या कभी तूने, आए तुम कहाँ से हो, जाओगे कहाँ ये सोचा नहीं रे नहीं. You talk about God, but have you spoken to him? No, you have not. So come down, throw that ahankar away. So this aspect is there. But I am doing it. I am doing so much. And this is not just for every like special individuals or some individual. It's for every individual. Everybody, ahankar will come. Today it comes into me. Luckily, my guru is there. He will do dhobi pachhad and make me back on the ground. But this aspect of ahankar is there. In the Rig Veda, we have seen in the great Rishi Agastya also. The Indra Agastya Samvad is that suddenly, as Agastya Rishi rises in his consciousness, he decides, let me surpass Indra. And he tries to bypass Indra, and then Indra comes in between. And he calls him, comrade, you're forgetting something. You'll have to go through me, through the higher mind, to the illumined mind. You can't suddenly just take a jump. Like a student wants to learn, he's just learning basic mathematics. Can he say, tomorrow I'm going to learn integral calculus on my own? No, it's not. It has to come. The growth has to happen naturally. It has to happen consciously, not by a sudden force of ahankar, because anything that happens quickly, will perish also quickly because it has not grown properly. It is in a not a proper manner. Butterfly also, it has to struggle and come out of the pupa. You take out the struggle, the wings are weak and the butterfly cannot grow out. So something like that. Let us see. Krishna says here, Sattva is bound by happiness. Rajas is bound by desires and actions. So many desires. And in the Gita, we have seen Asha, Pasha, Shatair, Baddha. 100 bonds of desire a person is sometimes bound. Because one desire leads to second, second to third, third to fourth. When I get this desire, I'll be happy. That's like my friend saying, on this particular day, I'll start exercising. It's been 7 years, this person. Every time I meet him, he says, I will exercise on this particular day. It never comes to him because he is not having that tendency. He is not wanting to do it at all. Well, something like that here, desires, you run after one, you become a slave of 100. So desires and actions and over possession of the actions that you are doing. Instead, we have seen yogis, no? They have the akarta bhava. They are doing a lot of work, but they say, I am not doing. Na ham karta, harihi karta. I am not the karta, the divine is functioning through me. Let the divine credit go to the divine, not to me. That is the state. But oh Arjuna, tamas is attached to negligence. A cloak of ignorance cages the intelligence. So in tamas, it starts with negligence, laxity, laziness, and in this ignorance, the person is trapped in delusion. We've all heard of this phrase, isn't it? Ignorance is bliss. How many of us agree to it? Ignorance is bliss. Anybody? Sometimes it is a bliss.
Yeah, we have heard. I think everyone must have heard this.
But do you relate to it now in this light of tamas? Is ignorance bliss anytime? Chaitanya ji.
No, it is not bliss. Maybe what maybe it is misinterpreted is like we should not think about what is going to happen more than anything
Yes,
else.
yes. But actually, can we say ignorance
No, 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 not
is
literally.
bliss? Not at all, isn't it? Many times it's a biggest problem, no? Out of negligence.
Not
Are, sorry, I operated on the wrong kidney. If a doctor says that, can will we say chalta hai thoda? Yeah, security guard goes to sleep. Oh, sorry, I went to sleep. Today only I went to sleep. That is why the thief entered. Otherwise, he would not have entered. There we don't tolerate. Dr. Swarupaji, you're adding something? Yes, ma'am.
I was saying knowledge is bliss. With
Yeah,
knowledge, with knowledge, after knowing, you can decide to be ignorant about it.
yeah, yeah. That is a choice. No, when okay, I'm going to let it, but it's not negligence, isn't it, Dr.
Yeah.
Swarupaji?
No. One has. That's what I'm saying. Knowing is a must.
Conscious. We have to be conscious. We cannot be oblivious.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes,
After
Dr. Swarupaji.
can
Yeah.
decide himself whether to pay much attention to it or
Yes.
just ignorant towards it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That English phrase must be taken out of our dictionary because of this phrase. Like there are some phrases, these are also sanskaras, no, which have been created on us. Be human, we say. Arey, be human. Who is creating all the problems? It is man only, no? Mankind only is creating. Do we call them? No, they are worse than animals, we say. Now, why are we calling animals lower? All are one. But in human beings only we have this tendency to either rise to what is divinity or lower ourselves to what is undivine. So if we understand that, no, I do not want to. How much time can we handle be human? Arey, I was in a relationship because I am human. I cheated. Will the partner appreciate it? Okay, I appreciate your humanness. No, not at all. Nowhere do we accept it. Just like that, we don't accept negligence. We want everybody to be perfect, isn't it? Arey, I have paid for these services. They have to be perfect. You have to give this in return. This is the dialogue most of people when they offer buy purchase products and all. No, you must give this in return. It is your duty because we expect from everybody else except from ourselves. And this aspect, the standard must be the same. And Krishna says, no, ignorance is pseudo bliss. Sometimes you don't know until the karmic consequences come. You are in a state of bliss. When the karmic consequences come, then you're in trouble. A small light-hearted example was my younger sister. Whenever she would write exam, when she was in second class or third class, father would ask her, "How was your exam?" She'd say, "Full marks." Whatever happens, full mark. Now, whether it is true or not, until the exam results come, that it would be full marks. And then the results would speak something else. So, something like that, ignorance cannot be condoned, ignorance cannot be tolerated, ignorance should not be accepted, it should not be in our personality also. That is something, that is tamas, because then there's a risk of getting trapped. And the cage of tamas is very sharp, very strong one. It is like a quicksand and you really need help to be pulled out of it. That is why they say Guru Krupa. And what is the shloka of the Guru also? Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. The andhakar, that darkness of ignorance, that is the job. Chakshurunmilitam Yena means again what? All gurus are ophthalmologists. No, it is the Divya Chakshu, the opening of the inner eye. The inner eye of knowledge liberates one from the darkness of ignorance. And that is where tamas is equated to that. Let us go on. Krishna says, Rajas tamaschabhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. Raja sattvam tamaschaiva tamah sattvam rajas tatha. Oh Arjuna, when the sattva qualities of nature lead, overpowered, the rajas and tamas components recede. When Rajas, when the Raja is walking, and when Sattva is leading, just 1 second, carry on. Oh Arjuna, when the Sattva qualities of nature lead, overpowered, the Rajas and Tamas components recede. So when Sattva quality is rising, naturally the tamasic aspect and the rajasic aspect gets what we can say overpowered. It's like, just imagine Raja is walking on the road. The Praja immediately makes way. That is how, when sattva is now rising inside of a person, these other two qualities, Raja starts getting controlled. The person who is cranky also, when he starts doing tapasya, when he starts doing yoga sadhana, the cranky person stops becoming cranky. He is able to control the impulses of Rajas. Tamas also. No, 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 it's all right. I don't like doing this work, but I'll not give in to laziness. It's my duty. I'll get up and I'll do it. So the laziness does not come in when sattva is rising. Same way, rajas rises when sattva and tamas are suppressed. So when rajasic force, no, the attachment is so strong, the desires are so strong, they start overpowering even the sattva elements. And tamas element also is completely suppressed by the force of desire. That time we can say rajas is rising, when rajas is in that individual. So sattva and tamas are depressed. And tamas grows when raja and sattva are depressed. Tamas, when does it grow? When sattva and rajas are depressed. If you just see, there are the three, they are like continuous, there's a flow of three forces at play. When one rises, the other two are not rising at all. So when a sattva is rising happily, naturally, the other two components are not going to be present at all, or they're going to be very much depressed on their own. But when Rajas rises, the force of Rajas pushes everything. It's like, who is it? Who is coming? Who dares work? Just one moment. Hari Om, sorry for the interruption. So when Rajas is rising, the force of Rajas blocks the other two. And same way, when how does Tamas rise? When there is this depression, when there is a depression of Sattva, when there is depression of Rajas, the force inside is also gone. I don't feel the will to do anything. What about goodness? What about Lokasangra? No, I don't feel anything good for the humanity also. I don't see any meaning. What has happened? Tamas has taken control. So these are the three gunas. This happens inside of everybody. It's not that one person only is sattva or another person is rajas, but all three are there inside all of us. So this is one important aspect. When we start understanding these gunas better, we will be able to work on them better. The reason Krishna is giving this also is not just information. He's giving knowledge which is practical, which will have practical applications also. So first we need to get used to it. Again, why a lot of people promote sattva so much? Because sattva is the exalted among the three. Why it becomes clear in the next shloka. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivruddham sattva mityuta. When the light barges open all the doors of the beings, its luminous knowledge brings forth the awakening. Know that whenever there is such an activation, the quality of sattva is leading in domination. So the greatest chance of awakening is, if you want to see in gunas, it is in the sattva guna only. It's like suddenly the light is bursting through, dark clouds suddenly pierced by the light, and then there's prakasha everywhere. Something like that. When the awakening happens, most of the time the awakening occurs when a person is sattvic. Why? That is when your force, individual ahankar's force is suppressed. At that time, you are receptive. You're able to hear, isn't it? If you go and talk and also at the same time, you cannot hear, no, while you are talking and pushing your view. If you want to hear the view of the other, you'll have to keep your view inside. Let me listen to it. Then act according to your wish, act according to your discretion. But if you are not willing to hear only, then there's no chance. So sattva is that state yogis were able to understand. I want to remain in sattva because maximum chance is there for me right now to get that awakening, to receive the higher wisdom. There are moments when sakshatkar appear. It appears in moments. Sakshatkar comes in moments. To cultivate those moments, they say, let me at least be in that state of understanding, this receptive consciousness. Let me receive. There are different mudras also, isn't it? So one of the mudra is just like this. People keep both the hands open and they do dhyana. Because consciously they are trying to receive and become quiet on the inside. Well, most of the times the activations happen in sattvic moments only. Krishna goes on. He says, Lobha pravritirarambha karmanamashamaha spruha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshava. When the rajas is in an increasing state, O Arjuna, the following tendencies begin to escalate: greed and a restless desire to initiate action, and the being seeks fruits with an impulsive passion. So this is the characteristics of rajas. When rajas is increasing, and there is unnecessary greed inside of the person. How does greed begin also? Begins with small desires only, initially. Again, choti si asha, but asha only is going to grow. Choti will become big and bigger and bigger. And greed is when nothing is going to be enough. I have 10 pairs of shoes. Only is the last word. So I need more. My clothes, oh no, I have only these many. Somebody will have only one pair and they will be so satisfied and trupta. They'll not even mind if somebody says, oh, what, you're wearing this only everywhere. The person will laugh. It's okay. I don't care. No, no, no. I need to have one for the morning, one for the afternoon, one for the evening, one for the outside, one for the inside. The greed has no limit. And that is a dangerous aspect. And that is Rajas. What happens then? Restless desire to initiate action. You cannot sit in one place quietly. I have to do something. Then only my value. I am worth something if I show my power, my authority. People have a tendency of exercising their force everywhere. That is just Rajasic. And that desire, restless desire to initiate action all the time. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. Sometimes people cannot sit quietly also. I know of a friend. I feel happy when I clean. Otherwise, I'm unhappy. I have to sit and do something so much that I must do something. I must do something. How about meditation? No, no, it's not possible. I can't sit like that, just like that. Well, one way it is good, no? Rather than just sleeping and not doing anything. That is also an interesting case. Some people, one friend had his fridge, there was fungus and mold inside of the fridge because the person has not cleaned it at all. That's absolute tamasic. But Rajas also has a limitation. And the problem is when it becomes too much. They say sarvatra ati varjayet. Everywhere too much of anything is bad. But Rajas has a tendency to quickly attach and quickly grow into a greed, into what we can say. Even lust also is a higher form of Rajas. It is just excessive addiction, what we can say. We say compulsive OCDs, no? People have obsessive compulsive disorders about doing certain things. These are all Rajasic in nature is what Krishna is saying. This and a person seeks fruits with an impulsive passion. Always, I have to get this in return. I feel this is, if I don't get something in return, it's a waste of my time. I must do this and get this in return, and I must have a guarantee of return. Can we get a guarantee of return in everything we do? No, isn't it? And getting an unfavorable result is also a return, isn't it? And unfavorable result is also a result for us to understand where is it wrong, am I wrong? And in research also, research methodology is done, elaborate research is done. Then either your hypothesis is proven or the alternate hypothesis is proven. Again, you get a result, but that neutrality is not there. The person is biased only to the outcome which the person prefers or attaches to. That is the danger of grudges. Tamas is worst. अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्य तानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नंदन. Darkness, delusion, and an ignorant negligence, and a futile indulgence in actions of impotence. Oh Arjuna, whenever tamas is on the rise, all these nature's deformities in that being arise. Tamas, when it rises, what happens? Ignorant negligence. Yeah, no, it's not I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do my duty. I don't want to do it. I don't need to do it. Nobody is watching me, so why should I do my duty right now? These are all tamasic thoughts. To some extent, everybody feels tamasic. Arey, Monday morning, what is this? We have to go to work. Why should that's all right to some extent, it's natural. But what happens when you decide, no, I'll not go today to work just because I'm lazy? It'll have consequences, isn't it? And there was no reason for it. If you're unwell, it's all right. Nurse your health, become all right, and then do your work. But for no reason, just because the mind is tamasic, that is a problem. Futile indulgence in actions of impotence means useless actions, doing actions which have no outcome at all, no meaning, like pouring water in a desert. Water is a precious commodity, isn't it, in the desert? And somebody with tamasic buddhi just goes and starts pouring water. Why? What are you getting out of it? Nothing, isn't it? But sometimes people have, I know of, there was a project to make a swimming pool in a desert. What a waste, isn't it, of resources? What a waste. Just why? Because ahankar. And ahankar adding into full ignorance of tamas, both attached together. So this aspect of tamas is again driving a person into this. And Krishna says, whenever tamas rises, these deformities arise. We don't tolerate this negligence anywhere, isn't it? And such negligence can have drastic consequences, as we saw in the case of a doctor. Say in a nuclear power reactor, the person who's in charge of watching the reaction, he says, "Oh, sorry, I just allowed the reactor to go critical." What's going to happen? The entire place would be there. Such a checks and balances in every system to prevent tamasic actions from an individual, because this is a danger, deformity. In relation also, what is tamas? Tamas is spoiling the beauty of, or what we call the sattva of the relation is destroyed by tamas. Rajas also creates a disturbance, but tamas is creating a delusion. No matter what, you are not able to pull that person out. It's sometimes very difficult to pull the person out of the tamasic force. Rajas, you can sometimes, like Krishna says, "No, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi." The gambler can be defeated in the gambling also by the higher consciousness, using the same rules. Tamas is darkness. Look at Arjuna. No? Arjuna got tamas only, isn't it? Second, in the first adhyay. It was tamas, isn't it? And how strong it was. Karparnya dosho pahata svabhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammohacheta. He says, I'm afraid. Who is saying I'm afraid? A grown-up warrior, Mahabaho, Dhananjaya, Parantapa, somebody who is so powerful, so talented. He says, I don't see any meaning in life anymore. I need to finish my life. That is the only solution I feel, which will help everybody. Who is it going to help? Nobody. He's saying he cares for Draupadi, he cares for the Pandavas. But and so he's taking this action. But is this action going to help Pandavas? If Arjuna just ran away from the battle? No. So this is what an important action, isn't it? A futile action, an action which is going to complicate things. A ordinary tarka or simple logic can allow you to see this is false. But when tamas is there, your logic also is governed by that tamasic nature only. Let us continue. Krishna says, this not only affects the life, well, it affects when these sanskaras sometimes become very strong, they become jada, and then they are carried forward also. As we saw in 8th Adhyay, Prayana Kala, last moments, how does it fare? Well, what is the guna that is visible in the last moment also? Krishna says, Yada sattve pravruddhe tu pralayam yati deha bhrut tadottama vidam lokan amalan prati padyate. At the final moments, if sattva nature is in abundance, during the period of death, dissolution, and ascendance, the being reaches the dream that is most fortunate and dwells with the highest knowledgeable souls, immaculate. Krishna says, in the last moment, in the prayana kala, if sattva is there, then the journey is a little smoother. The consciousness takes you towards what we have seen earlier. There is the Krishna Marga, there is the Shukla Marga, there is what higher consciousness, Chandra Loka, whatever it is, that has to be experienced. We can't describe the architecture of that Loka right now. But the sattvic nature, not only in life, is supposed to be helping in the forward journey as well. That is why old people who are wise, we see them always quiet and peaceful. I think in the elderly who have, if anybody had the moment where they had to see the last moments of some very peaceful people, you will see that they are always sattvic. They have chosen. Sometimes people who are very angry become very peaceful as grandparents. Most of the parents say, "You children, you're lucky. You don't know. I used to get with a belt, and you are saying now you are able to pull the beard of your grandfather. We could not even imagine the face of your grandfather when we were young." Well, that was the nature. That was the transformation. The sattva nature, they understand as the age grows with wiseness, maturity comes, they see the importance of it, they become quiet on the inside. But what about Rajas? Rajas is different. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangish jayate tatha pralinas tamasi mudayonish jayate. If the Rajas abounds when the being, embodied being is passing away, the soul is born into the womb that seeks desire's way. So what Rajas will not be, it's not eliminated yet, no? So the journey is not complete, picture is not complete, it has to continue. So Rajas will lead to Rajas only. Even Prayanakali will not see peaceful. So this property must not go to that person, will be the last dialogue of that person. He'll be frustrated, he'll be irritated even at that last moment. Shanti is not there. And what about tamas? Same thing. The story is not complete. People sometimes feel in tamasic nature, they say, no, let me end my life. I'll get a restart picture. Game over and restart from start. No, it's not restart from start. You have unfortunately saved a wrong checkpoint right now in this life scheme. You'll get a moment you have to carry forward the karmas that are not finished. So this is the tamasic nature. Many times these thoughts come into our head, let us finish, let us escape. But it is not the escape, no, it is carrying forward. Karmas are there, sanskaras are there, karma bandhanas are there. This is something which one must be aware of. It's not something so easily just mental logic. But this mental logic, who is giving? It is a tamasic nature only, isn't it? Tamasic guna is creating this kind of a delusion inside of a person. Karmanah sukrudasyahuhu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasah phalam. When the works are performed in sattva's light, the fruits are pure as the mode of action is right. Means you have sown a right seed, good quality seed of a mango. You have given good work, you have taken good care of that plant. Now it has grown, it has become a tree. So it will give what fruits? It will give the same fruits of that mango only, isn't it? You have put the good seed, you will get a good fruit. Chaitanya wants to say something.
Yeah, Sushuji, can you please repeat? If the tamas is leading at the time of Prayanaka, then what happens?
When tamas is, it will be carried forward. It's a jada sanskara. Tamas is a
Okay.
jada sanskara of delusion. So you are going to the next birth also, it is a tamasic nature only. It's like sometimes people have a tendency to end their lives because of tamasic thoughts. They feel I will get escape now, I will go into freedom and it will be new start. It will be a new start, but again, previous sanskaras will be there.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the journey it is not like restart again. It's not like that. You are saving a wrong checkpoint, no? Your
Yeah.
Prayanakali, that is why should not. I think when playing games online, we have the aspect of saving points, no? Checkpoints.
Yeah.
Why do we do that? कि चलो अभी ये level difficult है, let's have a good backup. If I don't, I want to restart from this point, so I can definitely succeed. But if by mistake you save a wrong checkpoint just before you're losing, when you restart the game again, you'll have to restart either from scratch. You can't take back what is there. Something is there. This analogy
Okay.
is simplified one, of course, but just
Okay.
for understanding. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So Krishna says here, so the works, when they are done in Sattva's light, they are going to be pure. Sattvic person's actions, you will see the stamp of Sattva in it. A Sattvic person folds the bedsheet also, you will understand that this person has folded the bedsheet. This person was here. This is the person who was speaking. The Sattvic nature only is talking. This is very clear. The stamp is there. Krishna goes on, but when work done in Rajas state brings only pain and ignorance, results of Tamas's actions vain. Works done in Rajas, what happens with Rajas? There's pain only. Every time. We don't realize it. We cause pain, we cause disturbance either to us or somebody else because of our desires. I don't think we deserve to do that, isn't it? To ourselves also or to others. Why should our experience be like that? Sometimes, all interactions of some people, if Rajas is there, Rajas will only spoil everything. And it's actually sad that a Rajasic person also doesn't understand it. But that is the problem. It brings pain because desire is again unfulfilled. What happens when desire doesn't get fulfilled? You get frustrated, you get angry, and then there's a cycle of anger, frustration, and ultimately it is pain, dukkha. So that is the phala of Rajasic action. That is why I don't engage in Rajasic action. I did so much for this person and this person didn't do anything for me. It was Rajasic. I wanted to do it because I wanted an impulse of getting something in return. That didn't get fulfilled and I got frustrated. Instead, Swaha, Ramji always says, Neki kar darya mein dal. Do good and throw it into the ocean, like throwing a pebble into the ocean. We cannot retrieve it, isn't it? Forget it, you've done it. Who knows? You might have thrown so many pebbles that the level of ocean only may rise. That is how karmas can be, but that's how it should be. Sattvic karmas are like that. Rajasic karmas bring pain, dukkha. If you are experiencing, and sometimes you see, this can be indications also in life. If I'm experiencing pain, no, was it Rajasic? Was there somewhere Rajasic element involved? Is because pain is not something which we have to experience, isn't it? Or when we attach to pain in Rajasic state, we start experiencing suffering, isn't it? And when you suffer, you can get an indication that I'm probably not in the right direction or something is not right. I need to course correct. I need to identify. These are all what we can say litmus tests. So that is Rajas. What about Tamas? But the Tamas bring forth ignorance's illusion. The negligent being dwells in a state of delusion. That person is there, it just creates ignorance, moha. In a Maya, only the person is lost. Just think you're going into a desert and the guide tells you there's no oasis there, but now you are thirsty and you are seeing a mirage. You'll say, quite, hey, guide, don't give me unnecessary advice. I can see the water, I'm going to run. No, no, you will get tired. No, no, I can see the oasis, I'll run after that. Don't you disturb me. So, whatever energy reserves are there, they are depleted running after the wrong thing. That is tamas. That is tamas, what Krishna is saying. And that being dwells in that state. So, with this, we stop here at the shloka number 17. No, so 16. 16. So, work of Rajas state bring only pain and ignorance results of the tamas's actions vain. So, tamasic actions lead to more ignorance only. They will not lead to light. Fruit of Rajas is pain. And sattva is what we can see, the higher knowledge. The works are done properly, the works are done perfect. So right now we have just been introduced to three gunas. Probably we can take the time to meditate on these three gunas, how they are functioning in us only, because like this is not for giving labels to others. Oh, this is Sattva, this is Rajas. My friend's mother, she started calling, hey Tamas, get up. Hey Tamas, get up. And he would reply, hey Rajas, you keep quiet. This dialogue started. I came to know because he was a close friend of mine. And she was correct in a way because this person, it was the COVID time. He lost his job, and for 1.5 years, he was sleeping in the house watching cartoons. Not bothered about his job, not bothered what he was. He was like a polar bear growing fatter inside the air conditioned room, and he would not do anything. That time he joined the Gita class, he stopped attending. His mother attended. But in the initial stages, they were all labeling each other. Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. I think it is not required to label others. It is for us, no? It is for us. What is we should say inside of us? Hey, Tamas, go out. Or hey, Rajas, quiet. Come on, Sattva, you should get up inside of us because that is the way. Let us just look at it because next we will see about how these gunas function. And then there is something which is higher than the gunas. What we can say in games, there is something called God mode. Suddenly, you're not going to get wounded, also. You're not going to get affected when you play in online games. Something of that sort in life, also. If life is like this divine game of Prakriti, what is the secret code? Well, there is something which is beyond the three gunas, also. And it is practicable also for all of us That is something Krishna will introduce. So that we'll see tomorrow. As of now, we can conclude. Can somebody summarize what we have seen? So we can conclude after that. Yes, please. Hari.
May I?
Certainly, Deep.
Yeah. So today we started, and Shri Krishna said that the entire Srishti is my garbha of creation, and I'm also the seed of it. So that garbha and seed both are me only. And then he went towards the three gunas that he introduced: rajas, tamas, and sattva. So he said even the body and the Brahman, which is inside that body, or that avyakta, it is also bound by these three gunas. It is not because the limitation of it. It is because that consciousness has chosen to be bound by it, and that's why. And that is probably the reference to what he was saying in earlier adhyas, where he said that even when I descend, I have to follow the rules of Prakriti. So that's why he has to get bound by those gunas as well. So yeah, the sattva is about serenity, purity, and that peacefulness. It expresses through the happiness, knowledge, and that fascination for knowledge and admiration. So it is about that good things, and it does not cause any vikaras, and it brings. I mean, it helps in getting living, what to say, a long and peaceful life. But there's one problem: it gets attached with that happiness. It gets attached with that what do you say, fascination of knowledge. So it is a limitation of that of sattva. Rajas, on the other hand, is that fire gives that passion or desire and possessiveness of the things, and also longing for things, and sometimes I think that restlessness to perform some action. That is the reason why it moves you away from that peacefulness, and if it is not controlled, it can obliterate everything in a moment. As we said, that momentary anger can also destroy everything, because you end up saying or doing something which you wouldn't have otherwise done. So that effect is basically caused by rajas. So yeah, so that is the main issue, or is this attachment or the desire. Tamas, on the other extreme, is about ignorance and delusion. It is more of you are not you maybe you don't care enough about something, and you just ignore things. It is more what do you say, increase with sleep and laziness and laxity, and person is not actually able to experience that ananda, or that even good energy, and he is more into the darkness and depression. That is what basically tamas accompanies. So yeah, and then we talked about ignorance being bliss, but it is kind of pseudo bliss, and at some point in time, that reality is going to strike, and you are going to realize things. So not literally that ignorance is bliss, as Swarupaji had said. I think it's good to be aware about things and then not think about the results. Yeah, so that part.
Yes.
Then yeah. When one of these gunas is leading, it may be sattva or rajas or tamas. It normally overpowers other things, and when sattva is in ascendance, you have greater chance of realization. So that is why I think, and as you said, a sakshatkar comes in those moments, and more you remain in that sattvic condition, it is you are likely to move closer to that sakshatkar. On the other hand, when rajas is leading, there is this, as we said, restlessness to do some sort of action, initiate some action. There is no calmness, and that attachment, which is, so we also talked about lust, and which is also kind of higher form of rajas only. And there is a impulsive reactions, and the person wants some guarantees of returns, that if I do something, I need to get this, I have to do this to get this thing done. So these type of feelings, they come from rajas. Tamas, on the otherwise, is about, as we said, it is about negligence and ignorance, and we indulge into a futile actions or things which are not going to go anywhere, and there is no basically any. We are not going to get anything out of it, nor they're going to work out for something. So it is just futile effort which is getting wasted. So yeah. at the time of prayana kala, depending upon which guna is in leading. So if it is sattva, then we go to when then it helps in that journey. It makes the journey smoother, and we go to that good dreams and dwell there. On the other hand, if the rajas is leading, then we that is the soul is reborn in the womb of desires only. And as we said at tamas, if it is leading, then there is no fresh restart. That jada sanskar is carried ahead, and you still resume from where you had left. So yeah. So and in the end, we talked about works which are done in sattva, which probably bear probably good results, or good works have good effects. On the other hand, those done in rajas, they are likely to lead you to frustration, because you are going to get attached to things. You are going to expect things back in terms of results and everything. So going to lead you to pain and frustrations. And those done in tamas, they are eventually going to get lost in maya, because as we said, they are futile actions, and there is no real probably any purpose or any genuine what do you say effect that they're going to have. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chaitanya beautifully said, a wonderful summary indeed. And the last part, as Chaitanya was saying about the phala, means sattvic action. Since we're talking about fruits, just cultivating of fruits. Say a sattvic person is cultivating apples. What's he going to do? He's going to cultivate the apple, but he's not going to be attached to the outcome only. Ki, chalo, theek hai, I need to get this much yield or anything. He's going to focus on doing his work right. But Rajasic person, I want more yield, so let me use this particular promoter, one enhancer. I'm going to add this. I will add some more extra, this extra. Sometimes in this Rajas, if you'd allowed it to happen naturally, what's going to happen? It will go well, isn't it? Sometimes plucking off early before the fruit has ripe. Is it of any use? No, isn't it? There's a timing. Can you hasten the ripening? You can hasten it like how people do in the market, but it affects the quality. It is ultimately, it becomes harmful also. When people use wrong chemicals, all of it, it creates trouble. So that is Rajasic. Tamasic person is, he is planted oranges and he's expecting apples from it because delusion. He's not recognizing it at all that this is different, that is different. Apples and oranges are different thing. No, I'm Tamasic. What I think is true. Whatever I believe is correct. And that only I can see. Like I say now, good night, everybody. What will you all say? "Okay, ye to thoda..." Because it's morning, it's daylight. But if I'm refusing to see it's morning, what will you say? You cannot, no. Tamas, this is the ignorance. So something like that. Sattva, Raja, and Tamas. And if we have to choose as of now, Sattva does look brilliant. Sattva looks best because greatest chance. So let us try to cultivate Sattvic nature. Limitation, yes. Sometimes we shouldn't become too goody-goody also. What is this Sattvic nature? Or can we call Parshurama Rajasic? Durvasa Rishi, was he Rajasic? Can a Rishi be Rajasic and trapped in Gunas? Is he so inferior that Gunas will operate in control? No. So this is an important thing. Let us see, Krishna will answer. There is something beyond the Gunas also. But as of now, Sattva looks best. That is why there's this nice mantra, isn't it? Bhadram karne bhi shrunyam devaha, Bhadram paschimakshabhiryatraha, stire rangai srishtavan swastanubhi, vyashema devahitam yada. Let me hear good things. Let me see good things, give me strong bodies, let me live a full lifespan of doing good things for the divine. So like that, let us try to cultivate as much as possible sattvic nature. If we are lazy, we're not doing our work, let us try to cultivate sattvic nature as sincerely as we can. What its limitation are, we'll see tomorrow. So thank you again. We'll conclude with the Shanti mantra. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण पुनर्मिलामः see you tomorrow any queries you are welcome or will conclude namaste
Jai Shri Krishna.
jai श्री कृष्ण जी नमस्ते हरि ओम